SPX update here on the 25th. Let's go back here to the bottom on April 7th. I'll actually have 3 different counts here, but I think these 2 are the most likely. So again, we have ABC here. That is going to be either A or W, depending on what the C wave does. We get an ABC pullback. I have that as either B or X. And now here's where we get into a few different possibilities here. We have, it looks like a third wave here, but this can also be an A wave here. And then this can end up being a B wave back here into demand between 53.30 or 53.10 and 52.10. This would end up being A, B, and we would get 5 waves down here early next week, going into earnings for pretty much all the Mag 7. That would be the C wave and the overall B wave. Not the overall B wave, the B wave of this overall Y wave over here. So this would look like ABC, ABC, A, B, C. Like that. Fill the gap up here at 56.29. Or the second possibility is this is just A, B, and we're just making a 5-wave move up here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're on our way to the 5th wave up here to 56.25. So I see a potential pullback of maybe 5-6% going into the earnings. Can't tell you what would cause that. Maybe Trump tweets something. Or we just continue up here to 56.20 early in the week into earnings, and that would be bearish in my opinion. Because we're going into a weekly supply zone here. You're filling the gap here. That's going to be bearish. You have gaps down here below. And so I'm not even looking at this as a 5-wave move yet, or this being the bottom. I've said this in previous videos. What would I need to see for this to be the bottom? I would want to see a move that first of all gets above here. So we're right here. It would have to get above 57.50 minimum for me to even consider this being a third wave. If it just comes up here to 56.20, then slim chance. The only way it'd be possible at that point would be some kind of diagonal. Like that. And honestly, I don't really want to start this. I think it's a 5th wave for my alt count with a diagonal. I'd rather just start this with a normal 5-wave move. So you can see it's got its work cut out for it. It's got to go well into this weekly supply zone. And ideally, it actually wants to hit the 1.61 fib here at 58.35. So if next week we get earnings and this goes like this, and we hit 58.35 with no pullback back into 54.82, then I am going to say there's a very good chance we did bottom and this is a third wave. Another thing to pay attention to is the moving averages here. Let's go over the 200. So you got the 200 here at 57.50. That's the area I just highlighted. If we get above that, that would be very, very bullish as well. So really, 57.50 is the level that I'm really watching. If it can get above that, there's a very good chance we're in a third wave. Anything below that and rejected out of there and come back down here to this level, I would say we're probably not at the lows yet. This is probably not the low. So it's still got its work cut out for him. It's pretty much up 7-8% off the lows since the start of this week. That was a huge week. So with that being said, I would say I'm pretty much I'm pretty bearish in this area. I don't think it's going to make a third wave. And I think you're going to get rejected out of there. And I think we're going to go down and make new lows. But I'm open to whatever the chart, whatever the stock market gives me. I'm not going to be stubborn about that because that's how you lose money. So I'll go over one more time. This is either going to be WXY or it is A, B, C. That could potentially go up here to like 5,700. Or the third scenario is we break 5750, come all the way up here to 5833. Get a pullback. That will be key to see if we get a corrective pullback. And then I want to see one more move higher after that. If that happens, we have bottomed. So it really just comes down to what happens next week. Earnings are going to be huge. It could easily just turn into a third wave. And then when that happens, people are going to start putting money to work once we get above the 200 DMA. I think I'd be more comfortable putting money to work above the 200 DMA. I added some down here in my long-term portfolio around 5180, around that area right there. Actually earlier this week. And considering a trade as well in another account, I would sell some up in here, maybe sell some covered calls. But if we get up above the 200 DMA, I would potentially put more money to work up there and just use that as the spot where, as a stop loss. As long as we're above that, we're bullish. So anyway, that is the update for SPX. 3 scenarios for you. Either we pull back early in the week to this level right here, or we continue up into weekly supply at 5620. Third scenario is we keep on going higher than that, all the way up here to 5830. Ends up being a third wave. And if that happens, you're looking at, or I'm going to look at this as, don't like this count at all, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to be looking at. So if this ends up being a fourth wave right here, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. If it ends up going like that, then you're looking much, much higher. You're looking at that's a little bit too high. Let's use the regular chart. You are looking at 6,800 for wave 5. So 6,800 for wave 5 if it ends up going like this. And then I would expect a pullback for a wave 4. And then we can do it again. We can take the first 3 waves. And let's say this pullback goes back to 56.62. That's good enough. My target would be like 87.58 for the top of this bull market. So again, I have 2 scenarios on this. I'm watching both of them. Either this is a fourth wave of a third wave, or we are in one of 5, we're making a second wave, and we're going to go like this down here. And then I would still be looking for more upside on that count too, but probably not as much as if we just go straight to new highs from here. So again, I gave you the determining factor on the smaller time frames. What is going to tell us if we're in a third wave or not? So I would use that to your advantage. We got to get above the 200 EMA. We got to get to 53 or 58.33. We got to get above this for a third wave. Otherwise, you're just looking at this like down. You want to go down here now. for a second wave. And there's other alt counts too. It could go like this as well. And then come down. But either that would be pretty bearish too. So really the only bull count I have right now is just this breaking above 58.30. All right, so that's the update for now. If you want to use that those counts for yourself, go ahead and feel free, because you're going to want to know every scenario that's going on. If we get some kind of lazy move sideways and reject out of here, back down to here, you're going to want to know that that's probably the top, and we're probably going to make lower lows. All right, that's it for this update. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates, and I'll catch you in the next video.